Hi, I'm Kelly from Simplify Fresh, and today we're going to cover 3 things that anyone who's new to using a Mandoline slicer should know. First, we'll go over the basics of how to use it. Second, a few tips and tricks to make things safer and easier. And third, a special blooper reel from the first time I tried to make this video, which was absolutely terrible. First things first, set up your Mandoline slicer by unfolding the legs and setting it on a stable surface. Sometimes you'll see videos of people holding up one end of the Mandoline slicer because they think it's more efficient, but that just makes things a little bit more slippery and unsafe, so definitely put both the legs down on the counter when you get started. Next, you'll want to adjust the slicer for the kind of cut that you want. On this model, it can go from really thick slices of 9 millimeters all the way down to really thin slices of just 1 millimeter. Or if you keep turning the knob, it can do julienne slices that are small like matchsticks, or really thick julienne slices for good French fries. Step 2, figure out how you're going to hold the food safely. If you have something round like an onion or a pepper, this food holder is perfect for that. Now there's a trick to aligning the food holder the right way. If you look on the underside of it, you'll see 2 little lines that run down the sides, and those align with the sides of the runway. Make sure that the finger indentations face the top and the bottom of the runway, and that will align those runners with the sides of the runway, and it'll make it run really smoothly. If you hold this the wrong way, those little plastic runners can get caught in the blade. That's not good for your food holder, it's not good for your blade, and it's probably not too good for your food either. If you're cutting something that won't fit in the food holder, a zucchini, a cucumber, a carrot, you definitely want to use the safety gloves that we've provided to you. Don't bare hand the food. Step 3. When you're ready to cut, be sure to use long, even strokes along the runway. Sometimes when you get started, you might just want to make like 1 or 2 short strokes, but that's not going to get a good rhythm going. You want to use the entire length of the runway and go back and forth pretty evenly. Get a good rhythm down and it'll slice through the food a lot easier. Step 4. When it's time to wash it, turn the knob to where it says out and pull it out. You'll want to use a brush to clean all of these little blades in order to keep your fingers away from them and safe. Okay, that's the basics. Pretty simple, right? Now, if you're a beginner to using a Mandoline, here's a few tips and tricks to help you get started. Number 1, start with soft food the first few times you use it. Start with bell peppers, onions, zucchini, cucumbers, things that are a little bit watery and not too crunchy. That'll help you get used to how to use the food holder, how to hold it with the gloves, and once you get that motion down, then you can move on to some harder food. Try white potatoes first, and then move on to things like sweet potatoes or carrots that are going to be a little bit harder. Tip number 2, it can be tempting to turn it to the side like you see in all the photos, but it really works better if you're pushing the food directly away from you. Tip number 3, be sure to cut through the vegetable first with a knife before you put it on the Mandoline. Once you have that flat surface, it'll glide along the runway so much easier, and it'll be safer when you get started too. And tip number 4, this is one of my favorites. If you're cutting a cucumber or a carrot or something that doesn't fit in the food holder, it can be tempting to run it down the middle of the runway, but it's easy for it to slip from side to side. So instead what you want to do is hold it against the edge of the runway and then push it along that edge. It'll keep everything going all in one straight smooth line. You won't be slipping all over the place. It makes for an easier cut, and it keeps your fingers safer too. Alright, we've made it through the basics of how to use the slicer, plus some tips and tricks to make it easier and more efficient. If you already own a slicer and are looking for a few recipes to try, check the link down below for 10 free recipes for how to use your slicer. And if you don't have one and you're interested, you can also click a link below to order the model that you see here. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and if you have any comments to leave, we'd love to hear from you, so please comment down below. And now, without further ado, you've stuck around long enough, here's your reward. Enjoy the bloopers. If you stick around that long, you'll see the blooper reel from the first time I tried to record this terrible.
Forgot what I was going to say next. How to simplify Fresh. You really want to make the, I don't know how to say it without sounding dirty, long back and forth strokes. Put a link in the description box.